Okay, good morning. Good to have you there. My wife sitting in front of me, and um, greetings to you all, whoever you are who is listening to this video. This morning we are going to talk a little bit about prayer. Let me read one Bible verse for you, and then we can maybe a few verses. And Psalm 37, it starts with talking about fret not yourself because of the evildoer. Neither be you envious against the workers of iniquity. So it's talking about discomforting situations, and it says there is a natural reaction a man can have: fretting, worrying, reacting, taking care of your needs, situations. Verse 3 says, "Trust in the Lord and do good, so shall you dwell in the land, and verily you shall be fed. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." This morning I'm thinking about prayer, and my thoughts. We have a lot of noises happening again and again this morning, but I believe Holy Spirit's noise is the most powerful noise which can happen in our lives. And there are two possible extremes in which people can get into prayer. The first extreme is, both extremes arise from good aspects of prayer. The first good aspect of prayer is developing a habit of praying. In 1 Thessalonians 5, Paul writes about pray without ceasing. And that's like habitual prayer. Psalmist writes about praying 3 times in a day, and also Psalms talking about praying in the morning and praying in the night. So it's a good thing to develop a habit of prayer. Set aside times of your day where you can just pray, be in the presence of God. But then the extreme where it can go is the prayer becoming ritualistic. Like it becomes a routine, it becomes just another thing which I do in my religious life. While there is another extreme, which is like ask and it shall be given to you, and of course that's a promise from God. But people think that maybe sometimes their prayer life can be limited um, to just asking, getting something, getting your problem solved by the help of God, and I believe none of these two really, even though they are part of prayer, but none of these two really capture the real intent of prayer. A.W. Tozer said a remarkable statement. What is the thought which comes into your heart when you think about God is the most important thing about you. What do you think about the nature of God? Who God is? What kind of God he really is? Can we be real with him? Does he really love us? Is he really interested in our lives? Is he really in control? Is he sovereign over all things? These are the questions which every man has thoughts about. And our Bible has a lot to say about it. But in practice, in real life, when we go through life, what does it do to us? And my thoughts are, we can go to God. We can talk to God about everything which is going on in our lives. You can talk to God about your temptations. You can talk to God about your weaknesses. You can talk to God when you feel like a hypocrite. You can talk to God about your fears. You can talk to God about your jealousy. You can talk to God about your disappointments. Prayer is something very intimate. Prayer is something between father and a son. Prayer is something between a conversation between a lover and the beloved. There is nothing which is outside the scope of prayer. Jesus prayed a lot. When he performed miracles, he prayed. When he felt the tension of his calling, he prayed. When he was in the wilderness, he prayed. So there is a Greek word there are two Greek words about prayer in the New Testament. The first one is pros eukomai. Well, let me not quote the word, but this is what it means. It's a combination of two words, wishing and then turning your face towards somebody, moving towards somebody, drawing close towards somebody. So this is what prayer is. Like, I have wishes and desires in my heart. I have deep within me, the real me, the intimate me has something to say. And then I turn towards God and I face Him and I express that. That's prayer. There is another word, yes, there is another word, deomai, which talks about pleading and begging and wanting and needing something. But that is not the most common word used for prayer in the New Testament. The most common word is this word, which I'm kind of forgetting it, pros euko, something like, So it's funny, but pros means turning towards, drawing near, and the other part of the word means wishing. So I turn towards God with my wishes. I express the desires of my heart. I commit my ways unto the Lord. That's what prayer means. And I encourage you that it really does not require whether it has to be in a certain way, whether it has to be at this for a certain period of time. You can pray to God throughout the day. You can pray to God many times in the day. And actually, somebody may say, but you are discouraging, let's say, a morning devotional or a set time of prayer. And I'm not. But I also know by experience and by talking to many people of God, there are a lot of times prayer gets very boring to people. It becomes burdensome to people. They feel guilty about not doing their prayer time. But that's not what prayer was intended to be. Prayer is intended to be joyful, very satisfying conversation. And when you have when you develop this kind of conversation, maybe it will help you to have those larger times of prayer which are habitual and set. So I encourage you to just learn to take it all to God. In the beginning of the Bible, when in Genesis it says, and then men began to call upon the name of the Lord. That's what actually prayer means. In the Old Testament, you will strangely find the word pray. I pray thee. This phrase has been used a lot, and it was basically used for a human conversation between two people who were close to each other, rather than towards God. So the point is calling upon the name of the Lord, looking at God, His nature and His character, and drawing close to Him and having a conversation about anything, about everything, the most intimate things you cannot dare talk to anybody else, but you can go into your closet, open your heart before God and become real with Him. God bless you. Have a great day.